Okay, everybody out there in Twitch land, we're here with Game Time with Doc, Lurch, and Angel once again, every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're just getting everything set up, ready to go. We're logging in just a couple of minutes early, like 5 minutes early, just to do a quick sound check. Make sure you guys can actually hear us. So let's do a check 1 2, check 1 2. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hello. 1 2, check 1 2. Okay, I can hear everybody. Good. That's what we like to hear, is that the sound is working and Discord hasn't taken over my microphone like it do half the time. We are going to have another great show this week. Of course, this is our post-Halloween episode, so expect a little bit of that in the flavor of what we do today, at least a little bit. Just a reminder, the thank you party for game is coming up on November 20th at 1984 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Anybody who participated in game, if you were a dungeon master, if you were a henchman, if you were an exhibitor or vendor, or if you were just an attendee, everybody is welcome to this last thank you party in 1984 from 6 to 9 p.m. You get to play the stand-up video game machines. They will probably have credits on the pinball machines, and then you could add quarters if you want to play more than what credits they do have, or talk to Chris. They might add some additional credits on those. A lot of times, though, you pay separately for the pinball. There'll be snacks, there'll be pizza involved, so please go to the Eclectic Endeavors group on Facebook and then join the event and RSVP that you're going to be there or not, so they can order enough pizza for everybody. They want to do this one last big hurrah thank you for everybody who participated in game.
I was going to go, but now I'm going to go even more so because you said they have pizza.
Yes, they're going to have pizza, and pizza is the great motivator. Everybody wants to go for pizza. I had homemade pizza today. We had we were supposed to have regular homemade pizza, but the dough didn't rise. The kid did wrong, so we ended up using tortillas as our crust, and so we had.
So can I tell you a secret that I learned? A little secret about making homemade pizza, but you don't want to make the crust.
Well,
if you want to do it, get the Greek style pita bread from Great Value or like a similar.
Oh yeah, pita makes a good crust. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, the best crust, and depending on the pita bread you choose, low carb.
Yeah. Oh, I like to get whole wheat pitas to make pita crust pizzas sometimes. But we did flour tortilla pizzas, and we did them on the top of the stove. I used meatballs, cheese, bell pepper, and onion.
I imagine rolling slices of cheese and pepperoni in a tortilla bun, baking it, and then dipping it in marinara sauce. Actually, would say it's very amazing.
Well, yeah, it is. It's pretty good. I've done that before. Anyway, we are going to have pizza. We're going to have plenty of video games and have that last hurrah party for the Gaming Arts Media Entertainment Expo. It's been 12 official years, but over 14 years of fun overall. Lurch has been involved since year 2. I've been involved since year 4. Angel's been involved for quite a while helping Lurch. And it's the end of an era. So please come out to the thank you party if you're hearing this and you were involved in any way. We'd love to see you and get that last little bit of extra socializing. Also, just recently at Metagames, Saturday they had their 25th anniversary game day, and so people came out to do some board games. I did not make it. My chronic fatigue hit me really bad this last weekend, and I barely left the house except for I went out on Sunday for trunk-or-treating, and then I was out on the porch last night for trick-or-treating. But otherwise, I barely left my couch all weekend. I just was hit hard with my chronic fatigue. But there was some great costumes and stuff out, especially at trunk-or-treating on Sunday. And I will be showing some costume pics today in the show, a special kind of themed thing, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But we're going to get started. I'm going to go for our first topic. As usual, I typically start off. I think I've got Lurch starting us today with Microsoft losses.
Yeah. So, Microsoft boss, or Xbox boss more specifically, Phil Spencer, did an interview recently. He revealed a handful of things, including this one, that I wanted to touch base on. Um, he revealed that on every Xbox they sell for Xbox Series S, Series X, they're losing between $100 to $200 for the unit being sold, which isn't too uncommon of a practice for gaming hardware, because at least console hardware, because the goal is to then make up that money through
Game sales.
subscription sales, game sales, accessories, controllers, things like that.
Right.
Once they have you in the ecosystem with the console, then they can make money from you, um, in various other places.
Yeah, they start with a loss leader, trying to A, beat out the competition, and B, get you to buy the other stuff later on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like one of these, like for one of their revenue streams is in the Game Pass, which they've recently revealed. Phil Spencer revealed is about 15% of their revenue currently comes from Game Pass subscriptions. But it is profitable. With all the games that people have been wondering if it was actually profitable at the price point that they're selling it at. And Phil Spencer revealed it is already profitable, and it currently accounts for about 15% of the total Xbox revenue stream. Then he doesn't. The market, the growth on the Xbox platform for Game Pass subscriptions has been kind of flatlined. It hasn't moved much, but on the PC side, PC Game Pass has had a huge explosion of growth in the last year. And so that's where they're seeing a lot of their growing potential for getting in more players. And they are kind of in a state where they don't think that their percentage is going to get any higher. They don't think they're going to get to where Game Pass is more than 15% of their total. But their goal now is to get that total to grow bigger, and then that Game Pass maintaining 15% will be growing
Right.
Is
for the revenue.
is the Xbox that section in general losing money, or is there a loss in money by even having an Xbox to Microsoft?
Oh no, I don't think. No, I don't think Xbox is losing money as a whole because they're making up for it in games and services.
Peripherals and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they got these elite controllers that are selling for like 150 a piece or so.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other means that they're making their money. They did say, because they had a lot of things that they were talking about. Another thing that Phil Spencer added was, because he talked a little bit about this acquisition with uh, my Activision Blizzard that is still in progress, and like he talked about this in part because I think they were talking about how he acknowledges that Microsoft's weak point, Xbox's weak point, the criticism against them is they haven't been putting out very many major games from Xbox Studios. But that they hope, their goal is 2023 is going to have a lot, because I don't believe they put out anything in 2022. In 2021 we got Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5, and Halo Infinite, has like some mixed feelings on it. It's overall, most Halo fans consider it disappointing. It's my personal favorite in campaign form, but for the multiplayer, it's been a disappointment for a lot of people. And so it was really great gameplay. It got a lot of people's attention for a few weeks, but it's kind of like tapered off since then. And then they haven't really done much with in 2022. Like a lot of things that were supposed to come out in 2022 have been pushed out to 2023. And so Phil Spencer acknowledges that they recognize the criticism about Xbox not having many big things in a while, but 2023 is shaping up to be hopefully a big year for them, because they got basically Skyrim's face in the form of um, what's that game called now? Um,
Starfield.
Starfield, yeah.
Oh,
See
wow.
what I'm excited for.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And then we've got the Red. Man, I'm trying to think of it. It's been so long since we've seen much going on, and
Yeah,
it got delayed. Like there's a game that got delayed for out like the two biggest games in the just after the new year from Xbox were games that were supposed to come out this year but got delayed.
right.
Anyway, so they got some good looking stuff. But in terms of the acquisition deal with Activision Blizzard, they talked a little bit about Call of Duty. Interestingly, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which is weirdly named since there already is a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 from like 2008. But the new one, the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, is apparently the best-selling game on PlayStation on the digital store, both in terms of day one sales and pre-orders and everything else. It is biggest selling game on the PlayStation 5 since the PlayStation 5's launch. And Phil Spencer says that they have no intentions of pulling Call of Duty from
PlayStation.
PlayStation products. He says that they intend on continuing to support Call of Duty and releasing Call of Duty games on PlayStation platform as long as there is a PlayStation platform to release on.
Nice. It's good. It's good that they'll keep supporting that.
It's an ominous statement.
Yeah, it sounds that way, but I mean, he says he even compared it to Minecraft. It's going to be like Minecraft, where they continue to release it on everything.
Right.
And I think that's a really good strategy for these multiplayer games, because when it comes to these big multiplayer games, the more for any game, the more players you have in it, the better it is.
Yeah.
When it comes to multiplayer games, the more players you have in it, the more people want to stay in that game. The more people want to keep coming back and playing that game, because
especially
they live and die on their multiplayer, on their player base.
especially as they start to allow more and more cross-platform play in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Because if you cross-platform do it, they're just helping their business overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, it's the number one selling game.
Right.
You want to not get those
Yeah.
sales,
Yeah,
you want to get people to buy your Game Pass. You want to get people to buy your Xbox.
They're still getting residuals out of it. I mean, it's just not going to their console, but they're still making money. Why do they want to start? They don't want to stop making money.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of people's thought is.
I feel like that's why Killzone hasn't been released recently, because that is a very much a PlayStation only game that they don't want to let someone else have. At the same time, it was a multiplayer game, and it being online multiplayer worked in the beginning of the PlayStation 4, Xbox One era, because the console wars in its most purest form was occurring then, where it was healthy competition. But now competition is hurting them both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing operating now.
Yeah, we're kind of reaching a new avenue of gaming where when it comes to exclusive games, you're basically looking at single player games for exclusivity.
Right.
The multiplayer game.
Very limited multiplayer. Not competitive multiplayer, but co-op multiplayer.
Yeah.
Tends to be exclusive.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's just a matter of time until we start to see Halo on PlayStation.
That would be something, because Halo's been an exclusive Xbox title for, since its inception, pretty much. So.
Yeah. Oh no! I mean, the original Halo was built, or the original Xbox was built on Halo.
Mm-hmm.
It was a launch title. It was their number one.
It was their flagship. It was their flagship game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one that really was the selling point for Xbox, was Halo.
It was.
It was. I mean, I lived across the street from a Blockbuster. They made hand over fist money when Halo 1 and 2 came out, because of that was just it. I mean, I'm not even into Halo, but I knew it because it was there. Boy.
And I mean, Halo, especially the original Halo, deserved the praise it got. It revolutionized first-person shooters on a console.
Yeah, if you're into first-person shooters, you basically cut your teeth on Halo. That was the one you wanted to do.
Well, whether or not you played it, like the control schemes that every first-person shooter uses today was based on Halo's design.
hmm
Um,
Just like
but
MMOs
for
are heavily based on EverQuest and WoW. You know.
No, 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 no. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%. And just for the sake of saying it, because I've been like tempted to say it, but I'm like, should I? Just for the sake of saying it, that was like an evolution of the controls from Doom.
hmm Yeah,
no,
'cause Doom and Duke Nukem
well,
had
not really.
one way of doing
No,
it.
no, 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 no. I'm saying it was like vastly superior, but like Doom was the father of Doom and Wolfenstein
Doom,
were the father
Wolfenstein,
of first person
and Duke
shooters.
Nukem. Those were, yeah.
So okay, I get what you're saying, and the context of what I'm talking about, you're completely wrong. Because the here's why. Doom, the Doom of controls are basically the way the Doom worked well for PC. They still don't have Doom 1 on console playing like it should. Even when they re-released it a few years ago on like 360, Xbox One, shit like that. The early first-person shooters were like for consoles were like single analog stick to control
Yeah,
strafing and moving back and forth. The
it
thing
was
that Halo,
garbage.
the thing that Halo revolutionized that made first-person shooters really viable on consoles, because prior to that they were really first-person shooters were really much more suited for PC because you could use the mouse to look up and down and everything like that. You couldn't really do that on it. Now, technically, Halo wasn't the first game to do two analog sticks for a first-person shooter on console, but it was the first one to do it well. The first one to do it was Time Splitters, the first Time Splitters game, which came out not long before the original Halo.
Uh,
And even though that Time Splitters was the first game to do it, the way they did it wasn't nearly as intuitive as the way Halo chose to do it.
so you and I were on like different pages,
Yeah,
but no, I understand what you're saying now, and I agree with you.
yeah. And so, yeah, because of Halo, the way Halo handled the controls and redefined the controls for first-person shooting on console games, it really led the charge for them being a viable platform for first-person shooters. If it wasn't for Halo, we wouldn't have Call of Duty. Wouldn't be what it is. You
I
know?
remember playing GoldenEye, and
I remember GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I remember playing GoldenEye on the GameCube, as
Yeah.
well as like Geist on GameCube, and its single joystick movement is hard. It's hot garbage. It really is. It is not suited for.
Like
Yeah.
like the N64 GoldenEye was fun for its time, but that's because except we all bitched and complained to how that you couldn't look up and down really.
Yep.
Like to look up and down, you had to like hold a trigger somewhere to then stop movement so you
Yeah.
could then look down.
You had to
Which
stop
made
movement,
Odd Job
zoom
cheat
in, and yeah.
because you had Odd Job, the short character, who in order to shoot him, you had to stop your movement and hold a thing so you could look downwards to shoot him, which gave him a significant advantage over every other player. And so
Yeah.
if they had Halo controls in the original GoldenEye 007
It would have
on
been a different
N64,
game.
Oddjob would not have been such a cheap character to use.
Yeah.
It
You
would,
wouldn't have everyone demanding no odd jobs, as a house rule for every game of
every
GoldenEye.
tournament, yeah. Every personal tournament, yes. Okay.
So yeah, I think that hits everything I was going to talk about. That Spencer was talking about. They don't turn a profit yet on the consoles, but they do turn a profit on Game Pass, which is fantastic. I'm glad that they're making profit off of that because people have been saying that there's no way it's profitable, but I'm like, I think they needs to be profitable, and they tend on continuing Call of Duty on the PlayStation platforms, which is gonna help make a lot of PlayStation Call of Duty players feel a bit relieved, which is millions and millions of people.
Yes. Yeah. That the new cooperative environment, I think, is just going to help everybody.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to our next topic, and this one is just. This is going to be real quick, and then we'll go right into Angel's topic. I did want to share some Halloween costume pictures, specifically our old pal Neil Patrick Harris and his family do a family shoot every year. And I had a few examples of some of their family-themed Halloween costumes. Of course, he did the Wizard of Oz one year, and they also did Willy Wonka as a theme with Fruka and Charlie and everything. But this year, as a different one, they did the icons for the fast food restaurant costumes. Neil Patrick Harris, of course, is a huge nerd. He loves to go out and cosplay and he also, him and his partner have twin boy and girl, and they like to do the family themed costumes, and they do them every year, and they always come out with something really neat. Plus, with Neil Patrick Harris's budget, they can go all out, and they always do. And this is just another great example of them totally diving into their cosplay for Halloween, and us being con goers and cosplay enthusiasts and stuff. You gotta give mad respect for people who dive all the way in 100% into their costumes without just buying one off the rack, and they did it. As you see, his son is Colonel Sanders down in the corner. His daughter is Wendy. Neil Patrick Harris himself is Ronald McDonald, and his partner is the Burger King. So it was just a little bit of a fun group thing. Families do these group costumes at different times, and it's really kind of interesting. You see friends and stuff do that too, like the Ghostbusters of the Ozark. Everybody dresses up as Ghostbusters, or the four kids from Stranger Things dressing up as Ghostbusters for Halloween. Doing those kind of themed ones, or in Big Bang Theory when everybody shows up as superhero characters, and then they all happen to be the Flash, and they all argue because everybody wanted to be the Flash and stuff, and then things. But yeah, group costumes are something that's nice to theme up to get any kind of group unity going, whether it's family or club or whatever. I've had friends that have all gone as their D&D characters for Halloween or for a cosplay event. And so I just wanted to share like 3 good examples, specifically Neil Patrick Harris's newest one for this year. It's nice to see. He's been actually doing family-themed cosplay for Halloween since 2011. So it's just great that he's kept up this tradition year after year after year. And I just wanted to kind of showcase it for the final part of our closing on like Halloween weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all I really wanted to talk about that.
I didn't end up not dressing up. When you're a
I
funny
didn't
story.
dress up either.
Here's something that's funny in my house. I just been really busy with other things and just kind of like lost track of time, right? And so an orange bucket, like an orange Halloween bucket thing, showed up in our yard like earlier this week, and then someone took that bucket and put it on my porch, on the little table thing that I have on my porch that's intended for like food deliveries and stuff.
Right.
And then last night on Halloween night, I heard kids coming up and like looking in the bucket and going, "Oh man, they're out of candy."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's going on? Like, why are kids coming up to the porch and thinking we've got candy out there? They're not even ringing the bell or nothing for me to go and tell them no, we don't have candy."
Right.
And so I go out and I check the porch to see this empty orange bucket, And then I talked to Allie about it, thinking that she put it out there, and she's like, "No, I didn't do it. I think one of our
Was
neighbors
it the
did."
the brave people mow your lawn? Because that was
Yeah, we had like the opposite because I heard you had a lot more people than you normally have, and you didn't have candy for once. We
Yeah.
were doing our first, big trick or treat thing at the new house because we moved in December last year, so we missed Halloween. We were out. We had over 100 trick or treat bags plus a bunch of extra candy, plus a bunch like 20 bags of non candy for people with allergies. We had everything set up. We each had done our own pumpkins, so we had 3 pumpkins. I'd carved a dragon in flight in one pumpkin, and Allison had done like a stylized spider, and the kid did a meme that I don't even understand because I don't keep up with memes. But he did something from a meme character, and we were great. And I just wore. Me and Allison both wore our jack o' lantern T-shirts. Was our big costume. Plus, Allison wears her cat ears and tail.
I just wear a captain's hat yesterday while I
Yeah.
was working, but my wife and my girlfriend and my daughter all went out trick or treating, so they had a fun time.
Yeah.
But, anyone who knows me knows that I was raised in an extremely religious household, and so I wasn't allowed to go trick or treating or dress up, so I never did my entire life. So like dressing up, even cosplay is like super weird to me. Like I'm wanting to get into it, it's just like
See, I love seeing the kids in costume. That's one of my favorite things about Halloween. I like to go. We had YouTube going in the background in the house, playing a playlist of holiday themed music. So we had Rocky Horror Picture Show. We had Thriller, Monster Mash, the Flash Street Boys, all playing in the background. And during trunk or treating the day before, not only did I have the pumpkin shirt, but I also had a pirate hat, tricorn hat, and an eye patch for part of that, so that I was even more in the spirit. It was a lot of fun. And I had one other image that I was going to share. This is actually from 11 years ago. I shared it on my Facebook 11 years ago, but it popped up in my reminder today. And this is something from Halloween too, and it is a Death Star pumpkin. I don't know if you guys can see that on your screen yet.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I shared this like over 11 years ago, and whenever it comes back up in my reminders, which is always on Halloween or the day after, I have to share it again because it's such a great Death Star pumpkin.
That's no moon.
Yeah. So.
I unfortunately am driving, but I can imagine it, and I can imagine it would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty great. It's very round. Like it's rounder than I think a normal pumpkin.
Yeah,
Well,
I think they modify the picture slightly to make it work better. And then here's
it is unusually round for a pumpkin.
Here's our pumpkins from our Halloween. As you can see, the dragon I carved, and then the meme, whatever it's supposed to be, and then the stylized spider. But the dragon is on it. I free carved the dragon.
I see the dragon on the left, and then what was
the middle one is a meme of some kind. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be a meme of. And then the one on the right is a stylized cartoon spider.
What does the meme look like? I might be able to tell you.
It looks like a bunch of lines. I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Bunch of lines.
Yeah, it looks like it almost looks like it's like a Nordic runes or something.
It looks like it's trying to be some kind of rune thing. The kid said it was a meme. Once he said it was a meme, I tuned it out because I had no idea what he was talking about.
So imagine you've got like a grid almost, right? You got your horizontal line and a vertical line across. But then on the left-hand side, there's another line that comes off of the horizontal line that goes up, and on the right-hand side, there's 2 lines that go up, but all 3 of these are shorter than the main primary line.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like it's counting. But then in the what would be the third quadrant if you're looking at it as a math graph, you got two horizontal lines that aren't touching anything at all. And then in the fourth quadrant, you got a horizontal line that's touching
The
center
center line
vertical line, and then another small line that's going
up.
attached to that horizontal line.
Huh. You have to send me the image, and maybe I can tell you.
I'll send it to you at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dragon, though, I free carved. I didn't use any stencil or draw it on. I just carved that with the carver. In fact, I'd only done one wing before we started heading out trick or treating, and then I went and just sat it in my lap and free carved the rest while I was waiting for trick or treaters to show up, because I had gotten lazy.
What's the one on the right? It kind of looks like a spider.
That's a stylized spider. It's kind of based on a stencil that she got. She saw the stencil, was going to use it, then didn't like how it looked, so she went and kind of free-formed it. But it's really just a stylized spider.
It kind of makes me think of Legend of Zelda spiders.
Kind of. Yeah.
Only the face isn't quite as skull-shaped as the ones in Zelda.
Yeah.
A little more round.
Yeah. I was most proud of the dragon, though.
Yeah, that's a really cool dragon. I wouldn't be able to do that.
In our campaign, we made Lurch fought a monster that we call the Smiling Man, and that's essentially what I did for one of our.
Well, my dragon. If you look in the chat, that's what the dragon is based on. Is my dragon emoji. I just did a quick stylized version of a dragon in flight.
Yeah.
Like I do freehand when I drew that in paintbrush, because that was drawn in paintbrush, and then just put on my Discord. Oh, Geekatard's here. Pumpkins look good. Thanks, Geekatard. Yeah, the one with the dragon I carved. My girlfriend carved the one with the spider, and then the one in the middle. Maybe you can say what that meme is, because none of us can identify it. Of course, Angel hasn't actually seen it, but that's supposed to be a meme that the 17-year-old did, and 17-year-olds, so I don't know. You could never understand exactly what they're saying.
I suffer from aphantasia, so I'm actually not able to physically picture what Lurch is trying to describe.
That's okay. We'll send it to you at some point. But I just wanted to show off our pumpkins because I was rather proud of mine. And it's always good to see you, Geekatard. Walmart CPU. Been a while. You've been on Old School RuneScape lately? No. Actually, I've almost completely stopped playing Old School RuneScape. I still have my account there, but I mainly play Fractured Online right now because it's been in 24/7 beta testing. And the only regular show I've been doing is this show every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're always here. But you are welcome to come in, Walmart, anytime you see me here. And I will be here all this coming weekend for hours and hours streaming Fractured for the Extra Life 24-hour game day streams this weekend. They do it annually every year. And this weekend it is. I think Saturday's officially the day. But I'm going to go ahead and stream a lot of Saturday and a lot of Sunday instead of doing just 24 hours on one day, because I can't keep up 24 hours anyway because of my chronic fatigue. But I'm going to stream as much as I can this weekend for Extra Life. And as most people know, my stream is dedicated to Extra Life. Half of everything I make goes to that charity through the Children's Miracle Network. But thanks for asking, Walmart. We're going to get off of the Halloween pumpkin theme now and go on to the next.
Hold on. Lurch figured out what it is.
Oh, what is it?
I figured out the meme.
Oh.
It's a memified rendition using lines that comes from a comic strip about loss. So it's supposed to be like
You sound like totally underwater.
Yeah, it's an old one from like 2008.
I don't keep up with memes, so.
So think of it like it's like I was right about it being a grid, right? And it's got 4 panels. It's like 4 comic panels. In the first panel is a guy rushing into an emergency room. Second panel is that guy talking to the receptionist at the counter. The third panel is the guy talking to a doctor, and then the third panel
And then the
is
fourth panel, yeah.
the guy. Yeah, the fourth panel is the guy standing beside what seems to be his wife laying on bed.
The hospital bed. Okay.
Yeah, and the comic strip was called Lost. It was about miscarriage.
It was not very well received with how it was done, and it was memed to hell.
Okay. I just don't see the fascination of it for a Halloween pumpkin.
But we have an answer though.
We have an answer.
So the meme isn't the comic strip or what it was about. The meme is about putting it places. Like people will spray paint it on buildings.
Yeah,
that's a very. It's just the fact that it's such an obvious meme just by looking at the panels. You don't even have to have like the images to know it's a lot.
Yeah, it looks like a hobo tag. It's something they could just post anywhere. Yeah. Okay. I get you. Well, the kid perpetuated it. That's what matters, I guess. When it comes to those kind of memes, the whole point is to keep spreading them. So he did. It did its job. We're going to go ahead and end this part of the segment. Now, I just thought it would be neat because we were finishing out Halloween weekend, coming into the first show after Halloween, that I would share a little bit of Halloween costumes and Halloween pumpkins. I especially love to share that Death Star moon pumpkin. That one's I always think it's one of the most impressive pumpkin carves I've ever seen. And so every time it pops up, I like to remember it. But we're going to go on to your first topic this week, Angel, which is Hasbro dice lanes. I saw this too. I almost covered it. I'm glad you did. Hasbro's dice lanes.
It's just super small. Hasbro, who owns like Transformers and whatever, worked with the team there to create transforming D20 dice into monsters.
Into little mini
dice, and then it pops. Yeah, you roll dice, and it just pops into very iconic monsters like a adult red dragon.
Or this beholder is badass.
Or a beholder or an owlbear. Just a lot of iconic monsters. They are movie tie-ins, but the only monster that was shown that does not have a movie tag attached to it is the beholder. Likely because the beholder doesn't show up in the film.
As far as
or they don't want to spoil it.
As far as we know, it doesn't show up in the film. Right. I'm hoping that there is a beholder in the film because it is an iconic monster.
I mean, if they want to make it a trilogy, which it sounded like that's what they were attempting for. I mean,
they could always be saving the beholder for a later installment.
They don't want to blow their load in one movie.
Right. And we're already supposed to be getting an owlbear and a dragon and I think a displacer beast and a gelatinous cube.
Yeah.
So we're already getting two.
And we're getting more than that anyway.
Right. Oh yeah.
They didn't just show everything.
We know. Yeah, we absolutely know we're getting the gelatinous cube, the dragon, and the owlbear. And then rumor has it there's a displacer beast.
No, we've seen the displacer beast.
Have we? Okay, so then the displacer beast is there too. So we know that there are 4 definite iconic monsters coming in. So yeah, you're right. You don't want to blow your whole load, and they're also not giving us the full reveal yet. So there's bound to be more.
There's a mimic in the trailer too.
Oh yeah, there is a mimic. That's right.
There's so many monsters that are iconic that can be attributed to Dungeons and Dragons that they don't need to do several boss monsters in one movie.
That's
and we've
true.
got what was it? We've got a couple dragons and
yeah, we've got a dragon that's breathing basically earth-based breath weapon instead of your classic fire breath
It,
weapon,
it,
which I love.
it looks acidic. It looks like acid.
It looks like acid or,
But it
or
could be both.
mud or tar or something, but the fact is that
Yeah,
it's not your classic fire. I love that. I love the fact that they went with
yeah,
an alternate breath weapon.
yeah. I mean, we are definitely going to be getting, and
Uh,
I forget what his name is, but there is
mm,
it's something Imber or Inder, uh, that the fat dragon, that is essentially being held up, in captivity. Essentially, how his lifespan goes is, a red dragon is born, raised. Everybody makes him think that he's king, so that he helps them forge really impressive weapons and metal. And then whenever he grows to a certain age where, he's old enough to start thinking, oh, hey, actually a prisoner here, they kill them and then bring in another egg.
mm, yeah,
And that's who that dragon is supposed to be.
that one. Yeah.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it. That's just what it looks like. And they grow fat because they're never able to like go anywhere.
Yeah, kind of like veal cows, how they're not allowed to do too much, and they grow fat, and the meat is that much more tender because it's allowed to just be atrophied muscle. Uh, this is just a fatted calf dragon. Uh, but yeah, I am so looking forward to that. And of course, as I've mentioned before, No Honor Among Thieves comes out on my birthday, March 3rd. Uh, and so that's what I'm going to be doing for my birthday is watching that movie for sure.
Oh yeah.
uh, it is just so much on my calendar. I am just
You
can't
know what? I'm gonna get a drink on your birthday while I watch it too,
wait.
and I'm gonna toast to your birthday while I'm watching it.
Hey, I will take that because you know what? It is like such a spiritual irony that that movie is coming out on my birthday, considering I'm such the biggest D&D diehard fan for so many years. Uh, but then again, my birthday is traditionally a good day for movies to come out because as I said, the Batman came out on March 3rd, Watchmen came out on March 3rd. There's been some great movies to come out on March 3rd. uh, I usually end up getting a pretty good movie the week of my birthday, and so D&D just is the icing on the cake. Uh, the icing on my birthday cake. There you go. um, but I'm so looking forward to that movie. That movie is just like my number one anticipated. Speaking of movies, before we get off of that cross subject, Black Adam is kicking it in the box office. No matter what people were saying about the low anticipated ticket sales, he's already broke the $250 million mark, uh, and it's only its second weekend. Uh,
Yeah.
Lurch and I talked about it not too long ago because Lurch saw it with his girlfriend. And honestly, if it's as amazing as Lurch was making it sound, because I don't mind spoilers for that kind of stuff. Um, and I was even able to like shine some light on like one of the bad guys in it.
right.
Um, it sounds amazing, and I'm excited for a DC rebooted universe. Particularly so because uh, I don't know if this is a subject you guys are planning on talking about, but The Witcher, they're taking Henry Cavill away,
Yeah,
and
he's leaving
it
the
better
winter.
the DC universe better be fucking amazing. I better have my mind blown for them to take away Henry Cavill from it. That better happen.
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, I'm not a Witcher fan because I never played the games, and I started to watch the show, and I just never got into it. But I'm also not a huge Henry Cavill fan. I want him as Superman because I like the continuity there, but I'm
Yeah.
not his biggest fan.
Listen. I was meh about Superman and being Superman at all. I feel like anybody could play Superman realistically, as long as they're like have a particular build, and a lot of people have this build.
Right.
So like personally, I think a lot of people could have played him, not just Henry Cavill.
I
But
look forward
but
to.
Henry Cavill was such a huge fan of The Witcher that he's the one who pushed for the TV series to be made in the 7-week fucking or 7-season fucking long plan that they had, and it honestly frustrates me that he abandoned it before the halfway mark even.
Yeah. I just like
And that's what it is, abandonment. It's
I
not
don't.
passing the reins.
I don't play The Witcher. I never read any of The Witcher novelizations. So to me, The Witcher doesn't mean much. But I understand too. If somebody who's a fan of The Witcher, I could see where you get into that.
I like Lord of the Rings, and I think The Witcher is better than the Lord of the Rings.
That's high praise for me. To me, that's pretty high praise.
Better than the Lord of the Rings universe.
But like I said, I just never got into The Witcher. I think if I'd have invested emotionally into the franchise, I would care more about it. I just also have never been a huge fan of Henry Cavill. I was actually looking forward to Nicolas Cage's Superman, but
I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm sorry.
I wanted it to happen because Nicolas Cage is just a huge fan of the character, and so I think he would have brought something to it, even if it's a different look.
I look at Nicolas Cage and not think of the Bees, not the Bees. Like he's such a even whenever he plays serious roles, it's hard for him to.
I think the Bees, not the Bees, happened after the Superman thing.
That's true.
I think it happened quite a while later.
Yeah, and he has voiced Superman.
I know that Nicolas Cage tried to play the role of Superman.
And
I'm just saying that no matter what role seriously that he plays, it's almost always campy. I don't know what it is.
He voiced Superman.
Like unusual. Yeah, he brings this almost unusually campy energy to whatever role he plays.
I mean, when he was in Con Air, he wasn't very campy at all. I loved Con Air. It's in fact my favorite role of his. But
I think it's just his face.
But he did voice Superman. He has voiced Superman in the cartoon.
I see his face, and I don't see Superman whenever I look at his face, like personally. Like that's a harsh statement.
Well,
it doesn't look like a Superman to me.
So
he doesn't have that cowlick thing going on.
So for Henry Cavill, I mean, I like him in The Witcher, but if I'm having to choose one or the other, I'd rather him be Superman. 10 times over.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite Superman of all is Tyler Hoechlin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like Tyler Hoechlin.
I think he's a great TV Superman. I don't think he'd be a great movie Superman. I think he's a great TV Superman.
I agree with you, which is why I had to like think of it for a second whenever I'm thinking of who else could play Superman. And I think you're right. I think he's got a very good face for TV, but his face for TV is almost too small compared to what Superman should be.
Yeah, well.
And Henry Cavill is a great choice for Superman because he demands presence, but so many other people could demand presence in a way that but Geralt is such a fine line you have to like walk on to play correctly, unlike Superman. I'm sorry. So it's so much more of a nuanced character that I feel like we're losing more with him not being Geralt than and I don't want to say that Liam Hemsworth who's replacing him isn't going to be a bad Geralt. I don't know. Yeah. But so far, I know he's the best Geralt actor we've had, and we've had 3.
We've had 3.
Yeah, we've already had other Witcher movies.
Yeah, see, that's news to me too. But that's okay, because like I said, that's not a franchise I'm interested in.
Apparently they were terrible movies.
Yeah.
They were, yes. Extremely terrible movies.
Yeah.
But there are a few people that could pull off Superman, I think, better than Henry Cavill. But Henry Cavill I've never been a big fan of his. But I like the continuity of the Snyderverse, and anything that encourages making more of the Snyderverse canon, I'm for, including keeping him as Superman because it continues the Snyderverse era Superman.
I'm okay if they don't keep all of the characters from the Snyderverse. Like if they got rid of, say, I don't know,
Ben Affleck.
Controversial character of Amber Heard's Mara.
Oh,
Decided to change her.
Amber Heard can be tossed into a volcano for all I care.
But it would be really hard because Ezra Miller is being kind of like iffy, like he's being kind of slightly a controversial character. Not so much anymore, but he was there for a little bit. But I hope that they keep him in. I really do like his Flash.
No, they said they definitely are not going to continue employing him after this movie, but they're going to keep him in for this movie. Supposedly, he's definitely out after this movie, but he is supposed to finish this Flash. But they keep changing their tune on that, so I don't know.
I mean, we don't know what's going on with that because I mean,
it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down.
So now we've got James Gunn in charge.
Yeah, and
we'll see what James Gunn wants to do.
James Gunn is just promising in so many ways.
I honestly trust James Gunn. If James Gunn looks at Ezra Miller and says, "Look, you might have been innocent in this, and you might be taken out of like you're putting yourself in these situations, and you're too controversial for the movies." And they're like if he came to Ezra Miller and was like that, I wouldn't be hurt. My feelings won't be hurt.
Right.
But but I like Ezra Miller as the Flash. But hopefully they find someone as charismatic if they do wind up changing it.
Right. Because that is one of the worries. Is because I like him as the Flash too, as far as acting goes. I think he fits the character of Barry Allen really well, acting wise. It's just his overall public image is such that you're not sure if you want to support him as a person.
Like I enjoyed the show, and I think Grant Gustin did a good job.
Oh my God, yes.
But personally, I like the Ezra Miller Flash more than Grant Gustin.
Oh, I don't know about that one. I would take Grant Gustin any day of the week.
So much, and Grant Gustin just seems like a much smaller Flash, doesn't he? Like he doesn't feel like he fits the Flash's on big.
I don't know, because Grant Gustin seems like an epic.
Doesn't feel that way.
He feels epic to me, so.
He's what?
He feels epic to me, which is why I think Grant Gustin could have done the movies.
I don't think Grant Gustin's movie material.
I don't either.
I don't know. I disagree, but that's okay. That's one of the things why we have multiple hosts here, because we can disagree and still.
I mean, honestly, this might be kind of crazy to hear, but honestly, the cast of the Justice League we have of those individual characters that we have from the Snyder castings are my favorite castings. Ben Affleck's my favorite Batman. Henry Cavill's my favorite Superman. Ezra Miller's my favorite. Is my favorite Flash.
I have to agree with you, like on all points.
I mean,
I
mean, I like
Aquaman, Wonder Woman. They're all like my favorite.
Don't get me wrong. I like Snyder's cut, and I like the Snyder Justice League, even though I don't personally like Cavill that much. I like how they brought it together, and I like how Snyder cast them, and I think that they came into the roles just fine. That being said, if I was doing my perfect fan cast, there's a couple I would change. And Grant Gustin, I think I would put as the cinematic Flash in a heartbeat. But at the same time, he's now pretty much solidified in our mind as the TV Flash. So it's kind of hard.
If we don't have Ezra Miller return as the Flash, I'd rather it get recast to someone else.
Right.
I'd rather have Michael Cera than Grant Gustin as movie Flash, and I don't want.
Well, there's a lot of
Flash
people that
Flash.
don't want to see Gustin in it just because they don't want to conflict the two timelines, really.
I don't think that's the case. I agree with Lurch. I love the Flash. He's my favorite. Okay, the Flash, as everyone knows, is my favorite hero, particularly Wally West. But in general, the Flash is like my favorite hero in DC. Um, and I like the TV series Flash. Me and my wife are super excited. We stayed up in our bed watching it on our phones the second it came out. We downloaded that. We were super excited for it. And I liked watching it all the way up to like the third season. And it wasn't Grant Gustin's Flash that caused me to stop watching it. There's a lot of issues with the series in general. But like the actor was a good Flash for the TV series. Does not strike as movie worthy to me. It just doesn't. He does not carry that big energy. And I think it is because they filled him with insecurity. Like he plays a particular kind of Flash that doesn't fit in the Snyderverse.
I could possibly see him not fitting specifically in the Snyderverse. I'll give you that one. But he still he has the charisma for movies, I think. Grant Gustin.
He would fit in the Joss Whedon version of a Flash movie, but that's also not the Flash movie I would want to watch.
But he also he would fit in a James Gunn Flash movie.
No. Grant Gustin would fit in a Juno-style movie, a drama, a dramedy. Grant Gustin is very much a C-lister. He does not carry A-list energy.
I'm gonna have to agree to disagree on this one, because I think he's totally an A-lister actor.
Well, I see him starring a rom-com.
Oh, he's definitely got rom-com. I mean, well, he's got, among other things, he's got.
I see him carrying a legitimate superhero movie by himself.
Well, like Melissa Benoist, they both. His background's in musical theater, so yeah, he does fit a rom-com better than he fits other things, because he does have that musical theater background more than the dramatic theater background. He started in Glee. I mean, he's like.
I mean, isn't it kind of like the same thing with like whoever played? I forget what his name is. Steven. Amell. I don't know.
Stephen Amell. He's got a very dramatic background.
He also wouldn't fit in movies.
Actually, Amell has been in
a movie.
He's been in dramatic movies, though.
He's been in dramatic movies. I don't think he would be a good Arrow in the movie.
I don't think Arrow, the character, would be good in a movie.
Young Batman. I will say, I think he could be a good young Batman.
I don't think the character of Arrow would make it good in the movies, actually. He's only a substitute for Batman on the TV anyway. He really was just a substitute for Batman.
I think Arrow, as he's really supposed to be, Green Arrow, more accurate. I think Green Arrow could be a cool movie character.
I agree. Yeah.
But I think it need to be like a dual set, like it's him and Black Canary kind of.
Or it has to be Green Arrow and somebody. It couldn't just be Green Arrow.
It couldn't be the Arrow. It'd have to be Green Arrow.
Right.
Green Arrow and like.
Yeah, Green Arrow and Black Canary, Green Arrow and Green Lantern, Green Arrow and.
Oh my God. I'd pay to see that Green Lantern and Green Arrow movie.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
series of comics based on that.
They do.
Speaking of, they just dropped on HBO Max a new Green Arrow animated feature called, not Green Arrow, but Green Lantern animated feature called, what was it? How's the, it's something about power, but Beware My Power, which is the Jon Stewart's initial story, where he shows Jon Stewart getting the ring and they talk about Hal Jordan being killed and him getting Hal's ring. I just watched it today, in fact. Um, but it just dropped on HBO this week. This week, so yeah, so something for you to look forward to watching. There, Lurch. It's an animated
Animated
movie.
movie.
Animated movie on
Wow,
HBO Max.
exciting.
Yeah, it just dropped, and it does feature Green Arrow in it as well. So it's got Green Arrow and John Stewart's Green Lantern in it, and Hawk Girl is in it, and Vixen's in it at least briefly, as well as Martian Manhunter. Um, but I think if I remember correctly, I didn't see it all the way to the end. I got to go back and finish watching it. But Martian Manhunter and Vixen were only in the beginning, I believe. Um, but
Dude, this guy. So the guy that got to play Green Arrow for that animated movie is I recognize him as one of the side characters from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He plays
uh,
like an Irish. Um. Oh, what does he
what's
play?
the
He plays
name?
as like huh?
What's
The
the name?
actor's name is Jimmy Simpson.
Don't know him.
Wait. Is that the guy? Is that the guy who plays like the pastor who turned into a?
Not him, but I know
Oh,
who you're
okay.
talking about.
I don't watch
No, this
Always
guy.
Sunny, so
Like, you know how there's like this pair of brothers that's always causing problems for the gang, and I think they have
Yeah.
a sister. Like their whole family's kind of screwed up, but the ones they encounter most often is like a pair of brothers from this family, and
hmm.
he's one of those two.
uh, I
I know
watch Always
exactly who
Sunny,
you're
so.
talking about. They're kind of like almost inbred looking.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. Ah, God, those guys are hilarious and terrifying at the same time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
it's going to be worth it for you guys to watch it, I think. So definitely check that out. But let's go on to our next subject. We've killed quite a bit of time on
yeah,
side rants
I
here.
I want to say that Henry Cavill has recently said that he looks forward to having long conversations with James Gunn about the future of Superman.
At
Um,
least he's getting involved with the character,
yeah.
not just letting it happen around him. That's a good thing. Okay, our next subject matter is PlayStation and more losses. Go for it, Lurch.
Okay. So you may remember a few months ago, PlayStation Plus they redesigned their memberships a bit to
Oh
where
yeah.
instead of having PlayStation Plus and then PlayStation Now,
Now.
they got rid of PlayStation Now, turned it all into PlayStation Plus, and made it to where there's a three-tier service. You got PlayStation Plus Essentials, PlayStation Plus, shoot, what's the other one?
Premium and PlayStation.
There's a premium and then one in between. I
Right.
forget the one in the middle. Anyway,
Yeah.
since they restructured it, they have lost almost 2 million subscribers, which was in June. Like when they re-released it, when they restructured it, it was in June. They've dropped almost 2 million subscribers, um, which is about
Less than 5 months.
5% of their total. Huh?
In less than 5 months.
Yeah. So they've dropped from 47.3 million to 45.4 million, which they still have. It's still a healthy number of subscribers, and according to this article, that's still almost double the subscribers for Game Pass.
Well, when you look at the bigger price tag, overall, on average, they're probably still making the same amount of money.
So,
I mean, and that also you also have to imagine that similar to Netflix, they're probably gonna get it back with time.
yeah, I imagine they're gonna get it back. It is curious. I wonder why they dropped the 2 million subscribers. Maybe if it's unrelated coincidence, or if people are just confused by the change, or what it is.
Well, you also have to wonder how much.
I think it was very confusing. I already had PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, and so all they did was give me the highest possible subscription when I resubscribed.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
whenever when not resubscribed, subscribed, whenever they like renewed it, they're just like, don't worry about it. It'll still be the same price. Just, whatever. It's like, okay, that's cool. But for most people, they probably saw all of these different options and was like, wait a second, what am I getting? Because I could see
Yeah.
someone who's not accustomed with what PlayStation actually offers, who just has like the basic service, being like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah. So I think the 3 tiers is too much. I think it's a good idea to get rid of PlayStation Now and just make it all Plus. But I think it's too much being 3 tiers.
It would have been better
I think
with
they just,
2 tiers.
huh?
2 tiers would have been better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it should just be like the basic or whatever, and then the premium, and then
Mm.
nothing in between. I think that would have made it a lot easier, more palatable for people. Because it's a little bit confusing because like there's some games that you think would be available on the second level, but they're not. And they're only available on the third level, and then there's some games that seem like they'd only be available on the third level, but they're available on the second level. So at a certain point, you go, what dictates what games belong to premium and which ones go to the plus or whatever?
You have to kind of wonder, of the percentage, how many people are not going to middle tier, because that could be where they're losing a lot of their subscribers, is the ones they
Yeah.
were targeting to that middle tier, because it doesn't make any sense. You might as well either go the high tier or the low tier. I mean, the middle is like splitting hairs. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Well, okay, so here's more so going down further into this article from Kotaku. They do specify though that despite them losing about 2 million subscribers, and that's a trend. It already was going down prior to that. So over the course of the last 12 months, it's gone down by 2.6 million subscribers. But because of the introduction of more tiers that have higher prices, their total revenue has increased by 10%.
See, even better than what I said, because I said they probably were making
so
about
they're
the
not.
same. They're actually making more.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not sweating. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
yeah. So, well, it's interesting. They're not financially. They are making more money now than they were before, but it is still like has like investors concerned. And there was an earnings call where the CFO Hiroki Totoki had to try to assure the investors that this is not a problem. Um, the Kotaku article reads here saying that Totoki says that he believed this was due to a combination of people getting back outside again after the worst of the pandemic and declining numbers of third-party games and PlayStation 4 sales. And he added, in quote, in the second quarter, we renewed our services and there hasn't been great momentum as a whole. End quote. Before laying some of the blame on a lack of aggressive ad spending. Totoki went on to tell the investors that, quote, very good titles should help turn things around alongside better promotions. We think we are able to recover. Uh,
Mm.
and then it adds down here, the last reported figures for Game Pass was around 25 million subscribers in January, up from 18 million the year before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is, they're both doing well, but it's interesting how even though they have an increase in revenue, the decrease in subscribers of 5% has, investors on the earnings call concerned, and the CFO is having to try to ease them and be
Justify
like, no, no,
things, yeah.
we're going outside because
Okay.
the pandemic is ending.
Well. Here's the thing, right? Is if they have 2 million unsubscribed, then that means that there are 2 million less people who can play online and pay for PlayStation games that are
Yeah,
online.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like from the immediate, they might be making more money, but on the long term, you have less people actively subscribing to services that would ultimately make them spend more money.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
They have to look at their overall projections, but they also have to figure that some of that quote unquote loss is where subscribers were subscribing to 2 services are now subscribing to one, changes the numbers in some ways if they were looking
I don't
at
I don't
two
think
separate
that
totals.
I don't think think they're counting that.
I don't know.
The subscribing count, if that was the case, the subscribing count would be the same.
Mm.
Like the argument wasn't PlayStation Plus, wasn't PlayStation Now being like, it was PlayStation Plus members, not PlayStation Now. The only numbers that would change is less PlayStation Now members.
Mm.
Yeah, which the PlayStation Now members is 0.
Right.
Yeah. So,
I don't know I
yeah.
don't know what the numbers were before, but they're now 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so it wouldn't be, and I would suspect that that is why there's a 10% increase, is because, like, PlayStation Now wasn't terribly understood, but with the new push of it becoming the same service, people now realize, oh shit, I can stream games,
Yeah.
So
these old games.
a quick Google search reveals that in March 31st, 2021, PlayStation Now had 3.2 million subscribers. I don't know if we have any new numbers that are newer than that, but it was about 1 year. It was a little over a year after that was made available that PlayStation Now got turned off.
Well, transferred, yeah.
Yeah, it changed.
Well,
So.
and you got to look at a lot of those people that didn't have the double subscription, saw that their converted subscription was going to suddenly start costing them more, decided to stop because they were going to suddenly have an increase in price.
Yeah.
Well, if they were at the minimum, they really should have seen an increase in price, and if they're at the maximum, they would have seen an increase in price.
So yeah, I'm thinking here that it's the number of. I'm thinking also the vast majority of those PS Now subscribers, of those 3 million PS Now subscribers, were probably a part of the 47 million plus subscribers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does make sense that if you had PlayStation Now, you would also have PlayStation Plus.
I had them both.
Like the change in. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
I had them both, but I canceled them.
Yeah, I did too.
I canceled those.
Yeah. So I had them both as well, and whenever they renewed the price underneath the new thing, they were like, nothing changes for you. It just now is called something else. And I'm like, okay.
I had a
so like people who subscribe to both will immediately have gotten onto the biggest tier and spent not $1 more. Well, I think that the basic tier got cheaper.
The basic tier stayed the same price.
So then no one was. So what I'm hearing is people who had just regular PlayStation Plus didn't have to pay more, and people who had PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now didn't have to pay more. It sounds like nothing changed price-wise for the people who were subscribing for PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now.
I think so. I think that's right.
So the price change would not have been a contributing factor to the lack of subscribers. I think I have to agree with the president, where I'm like, people are going outside more now, and at the same time, people are probably confused about the new. Whenever something big shifts like this, there is a drop off that just happens when you change marketing.
And there's the image that they think it's going to change their price, even if it doesn't. People fear that they're going to switch and then the price is going to change.
The marketing for it was kind of confusing, the way they describe it, and it's even just the way it's described.
The notes I got made it look like I was going to be paying more, even though I had both services.
I read like several like you could tell that PlayStation also knew that was the case, because they sent me like 10 emails prior saying like, don't freak out, it's the same price, you got the same thing. I got it. You did too.
I did.
We both got the same emails. They were very clear. They're trying to be as clear as possible, saying nothing is changing for you. Don't worry. Except you get more benefits now.
Mine was saying nothing was changing. You get more benefits, but then in the next paragraph, it looked like it was saying, but I was going to have to pay so much right off the bat more, and they're like, because of the way the email
No, they
was
were
worded.
yeah, the emails were very clear to me
They
in the
weren't to
several
me.
emails they sent
You got
saying
different ones than
saying
I got.
oh
I
yeah, I
mean,
was gonna say we like they were like you're not paying more. It's the same service, but you get more. And then there's 3 tiers, but if you already subscribe to this and this, you don't have to worry, nothing will change. And
yeah,
they said that to me a lot. So like
yeah,
I had it drilled in my head. But people who aren't checking their emails, you just see that hey, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now are merging, and they have new price tiers. Might have freaked out and was like, oh shit, now I'm gonna have to pay more to get the same product. Sounds like what they brought, even especially if they
yeah,
didn't know what PlayStation Now was, which most people didn't.
yeah. And yeah, so the people that are moving was only like 3-4 million people that got migrated over. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I do think that the majority of it is probably people who got who. I mean, I don't think many people left because of the tier change. I think it. I think
I
it's
mean,
probably mostly a coincidence of the new
ultimately,
premium
I left because I just wasn't using my PlayStation anymore. You know,
Yeah,
it had nothing to do with that. I've been playing on
But
PC.
you're part of the percentage.
Yes, I am part of the percentage because I left, and it really had nothing to do with this as much as it had to do with the fact that I haven't even taken my PlayStation 4 out of storage. You know,
So that is a legitimate thing that he said. People coming out of COVID are not spending time on the console. Maybe people realize the same thing you did. Hey, it's summer now. I want to spend time outside where I haven't been able to in the last 2 years,
or
and this is an unnecessary service that I'm paying monthly for now.
they were just
So it's
doing
like,
something else instead. Like I'm playing more MMOs right now on my
yeah, yeah.
computer.
There's so many possibilities where the answer is just I got busy and I didn't want to pay for this extra service.
Right. It's
yeah,
just I spend more money right now on streaming services. I don't spend them on video games. I probably spend too much
So
on streaming services.
so the drop in subscribers really does feel like just to me it feels just like maybe they got confused, but mostly they just
Buyer
didn't want to pay
trend.
for a service they weren't using now.
It's just buyer trend. Yeah.
it also could be because there was a different in the list of games. Like, not everything that was in PlayStation Now is in PlayStation Plus. Like Metal Gear Solid 4 was on PlayStation Now, but it's not in PlayStation Plus. Not even the premium tier.
Wasn't but was that wasn't like a PlayStation Plus thing. That was like a rights thing.
Yeah. But the fact is, it did change, and that is
Right, right, yeah,
that
like
might have been
yeah,
the game that they were playing for. You know.
yeah,
You
like
know, everybody has
the,
the one thing that's their buying point. If that
it,
changes, it goes away. You know.
yeah. I don't remember what the total number of games is on PlayStation Plus Premium and the other whatever the middle plan was called. But I know that it used to be. I know PlayStation Now had over 600 games that you could play on it. I'm not sure how many games you can play on the current version of the Plus program, but they do have it kind of broken up a little bit because to play original PS1 games and PSP games, which weren't a part of the original design, they weren't PS1 and PSP games are not part of Now. You had to get all the way up to the premium level. But that middle level does have PS3 games and then that's where things start getting fuzzy because there's some games that were PS2 games that got re-released on PS4, and the PS4 version of the game is playable in premium, but not in the the bonus level. You know what? I need to get the right word for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you keep calling it something different every single time you reference it.
yeah,
Like, why is the second one even there? We're all confused what it's even there for.
yeah, extra. They call it extra.
Wow. That's the only thing you didn't call it by.
I know.
Every other word in the English language but extra.
extra, extra.
It's
Um,
PlayStation
so
bonus. PlayStation.
So as a fan, I have to admit I'm a little bit confused sometimes about what qualifies as an extra game and what qualifies as a premium game. Ultimately, it doesn't hurt me because I subscribe to premium anyway, so I have access to all of it. But I have like looked at the list a few times and looked at the differences between them, and I'm like, why the hell is that game an extra, and why the hell is that game a premium? It doesn't
I
seem
don't
to
know.
follow the rules that they outline.
I have been slowly but steadily playing. Okay, so I downloaded this PlayStation Extra, or not Extra. It's just off on the side premium game. It's called Kaiju, and it is a kaiju dating simulator. And I wouldn't have even attempted it if it wasn't for the fact that, like it was on premium, so it's like, getting it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm glad it's there and like easier, and I feel like because it's more widely, I think they had to make a move like this, just remove the middle tier.
Yeah.
I mean, because with it being a part of premium, now people are aware it exists, and I cannot help but notice a boom in the games that are now available on PlayStation. What was PlayStation Now is now PlayStation Premium for streaming.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, and that is because it is becoming widely available.
Oh no, PSP Classic. See, this is what's nuts. So for the that's right. There's a deluxe that's in some countries. Did you know there's actually a fourth tier, but it's not in all countries?
I heard
Lurch,
something about that.
around to play Crisis Core?
No. Oh wait, yes. I don't know what my brain was thinking of the wrong game. Yes.
You played the end of it, right?
I haven't finished it. No. But it's pretty great, and you know that the remaster of that comes out next month.
I know. I'm super excited for it. I'm gonna buy it.
Mm.
Just because that was my favorite Final Fantasy game. Period. For a long time.
Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core this is what we're calling it by the shorthand.
Sorry. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core is easily, I feel like, one of the best games that Final Fantasy has made, and it just sucks that it's in the confines of the PlayStation world.
Yeah. So now it's going to be on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh god, it's gonna look amazing. I'm gonna be able to finally interact with Angeal again. I am so excited for that fight thing. I show everybody the animatic Angeal, Genesis, and Sephiroth fighting. I show everybody that fucking thing. It is amazing. I cannot wait to see that in 4K. True 4K. I got really excited.
Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Yeah.
We've been on this for a bit, huh?
We've talked a little bit about this next topic.
Good subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about this next topic, especially Angel has. They were talking a little bit more about 1D&D changes versus 5e. What's new in the next Dungeons and Dragons edition? And this particular article, and I'm going to put a link to it in the chat because this one they're going to keep updated as more and more stuff releases on the 1D&D. So if you want to follow it, you can keep that link and use it. But it's got like a little bit of a synopsis of some of the changes that are coming in 1D&D. You know,
Hold on. We really need to reword that, only because it's not changes that are coming to 1D&D. These are ideas that are Wizards of the Coast putting out
in the play test.
They're wanting people to play test to decide whether or not they want to do it.
Right.
Dangerous wording that it gets people very upset about 1D&D.
Yeah, 1D&D is coming out as a play test right now, which means everything is up in the air. They are trying stuff. That doesn't mean that it'll make it into the final cut. They do want people to actively get involved, and give their opinion. That is an important thing, and thank you for pointing that out, Angel, because that is very important. They actually, when they did the play test for 4th edition, is when they really started doing this kind of more heavy focus group play testing, is in 4th edition. And even though 4th edition was not universally accepted, the method of going in and playtesting everything first has helped the overall D&D brand. Fifth edition really benefited from pre-playtesting and the D&D Next system that became fifth edition. And now they're taking fifth edition and going on to one D&D and trying to get rid of the whole concept of edition numbers after that. And this is supposed to be the perpetual or ongoing version of D&D that they're hoping to build for.
They've been releasing erratas for 5e.
Mm-hmm.
They're wanting to get on the bandwagon, not necessarily bandwagon, but like they're wanting to jump on this mentality that D&D, like video games, can be edited in real time
and evolve. Yeah.
And like so, that's what one D&D is aiming to be.
Yeah.
It's really important that we cannot allow ourselves to be married to the idea that that's what the end result is going to be.
Right. Because they do want our feedback, and they want it to be an ongoing process so that it has the ability to continually evolve. And they want to, like, instead of publishing, 6th edition books, 7th edition books, they want to have an interactive system.
Yes, ma'am. It is really important to, if you are upset with a rule,
you tell them.
Don't blast D&D for doing it, because they haven't done it yet.
No.
You need to send them a ticket and be like, this is a bad thing, and here's why I think it's a bad thing.
And here's my suggestion.
Actually change the system.
And here's my suggestion. Be constructive. Don't just say this sucks. Say this sucks and why, and what you would like to see done differently. Because they'll take all that feedback and they'll bring it in and try to find that happy medium that helps the most people with additional optional rules for those that want corner cases and stuff.
We recently, Monica and Lurch, we recently all went,
you have your gaming group.
We recently had a D&D game,
right.
Where I DM. Something I noticed was, despite everybody having stacks of inspiration, no one was using them. And no one using them means I can't give them the inspiration. And so, something that I like about one D&D, a change to bards, is bards can now, in one D&D, issue inspiration on the spot, and I can
reactive
inspiration. Yeah, and so it's a reaction, and to another player doing something. And I think that is a great way to incentivize a bard to be useful almost 100% of the time, especially since the game that we played had a lot of opportunities for people to recover a failure, particularly at disadvantage. That could have been like good by using your inspirations, and no one was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, one D&D's fix of making a reaction actually might fix this.
Well, yeah, not only do they make it a reaction for the bard, but they're also adding in other forms of inspiration as reactions to dice rolls and stuff too. So, like, just rolling a 1 can give you inspiration on your next die roll, or the ability to use inspiration. Rolling a 20 will reward you with inspiration. So you get extra ways of doing inspiration in addition to the bard also getting reactive inspiration. And that's
I think I'm going to from this moment forward, and I'm probably gonna like make a post in my Discord group, but I think I would like to start initiating like that version of inspiration in our current game to play.
Did you ever fill your NPC? You were looking for.
Did I ever? Oh, we did.
You did?
Yes. He's fitting in very nicely.
I mean, I applied, but you didn't see mine, so you probably filled it before you saw mine. So, because I remember I pointed it out, and you're like, "Yeah, I didn't even realize you'd asked to be there." But that's okay.
At the time that you said that, I was already at talk with like people.
That's fine.
It really is all about
and I would have been relying on somebody else to ride too, so it's probably more convenient for somebody else anyway. But I would have liked to have gotten into the game, but that's okay. just because I find you an interesting person and knowledgeable, which means I think you would run a good game.
I think you would have been a great addition to the game.
I mean, I've only been playing since birth, so I might know a little bit about it. I might know a little bit about it. My embryo was playing in the womb. What are you talking about? but my mom
you were
died.
born and a couple of D20s came out and it.
That's right. A couple of D20s came out with the afterbirth. I'm telling you. Yeah, there's this article though is detailing some of the gestation of the new program, and it's going to be continually updated as things change and modify, and they get feedback and go through different parts of the test. So people should keep referring back to this article because this is a good one to keep up with that. It also happens to have some links to some of the announcement videos and stuff for 1D&D if you wanted to watch some of the new announcements and things. That's the main thing I wanted to share with this article. I'm looking forward to 1D&D personally because I think that
as long as all the books that I bought is still usable, I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, they are looking at coming out with a new kind of digital product thing where if you buy it through D&D Beyond, even if you buy the physical, as long as you buy it through D&D Beyond, the physical automatically comes with the digital update copies, so you can still get the digital forms while getting your physical books and things like that. They're supposed to be doing periodic updates and tweaks. What?
That's the caveat. There's the caveat there that I don't like is that they are expecting you to buy it through D&D Beyond as opposed to like a local store.
Only to get the digital update.
Right. Yeah, but that's what I mean is like in order to use the book online on D&D Beyond, in order to update your character sheets, you have to have the book digitally. If, like, for instance, I have 38 out of the 52 official books that D&D 5th edition has. And if it wasn't for a friend of mine who has almost the same amount on D&D Beyond, I wouldn't have any of it on D&D Beyond. And that's almost frustrating because, like, I'm buying the books new. They should be coming with a pamphlet that allows me to scan it. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, no. It partly depends on marketing, see, because they lose money from their personal marketing when they send them out to an FLGS. And so that's where they're compensating from it, is they're giving you the free updates through D&D Beyond because you're buying through them, and they're not having to turn some of the money over to the FLGS. And that's why they do it that way. And it is a marketing thing. If they were to give every FLGS purchaser that, they would increase their money loss overall for the company because more people would buy through the, which in one way you want to encourage people to buy through the FLGS to keep FLGS going, but Wizards has to look at their bottom line as well, and they have to pay for the updating of their site. The site.
Their bottom line is they can sell the PDF online considerably cheaper. They're already coming out with a digital platform for map making and dungeon crawling, and they also already said that. I mean, there's definitely going to be microtransactions. You're likely going to have to be buying the rights to use like 3D models for your characters anyway.
There's going to be model packs. They're going to be model packs. Yeah. But
so they're already going to be making a lot of money, saying if you spend $20 online, you get the PDF and you can use it on D&D Beyond and never have to have a physical book, or the $45 physical book that also gives you the D&D Beyond. That's no skin off of their nose.
It is though, because if they sell it through D&D Beyond for like $45 for the book, D&D Beyond gets the entire, D&D Wizards gets the entire $45, And
No, I mean, at some point, it's just a greedy thing, which it will ultimately hurt them because it's also hurting the tabletop experience of D&D.
And all they're doing is making it to where if you buy it off of an FLGS, you might have to pay a small fee to get the update pack, the DLC content, which is normal even if you buy other things digital
No,
versus
no, no, no.
full.
Right now, if I want the physical book, I have to pay another physical book price for the PDF on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, no, in the future their plan is if you buy it through the physical book through D&D Beyond, you will also get the digital.
No, I'm understanding that. I'm just saying, as it stands right now,
Right.
I have to pay double regardless in order to get it on D&D Beyond. In
Yeah.
the future, they are hurting mom and pop stores trying to get the books out physically through that, and they are also hurting people who just want to have a physical book at the table and actually play on the table without any electronics involved.
See, the reason you have to buy it separately now is because initially D&D Beyond was not Wizards of the Coast platform.
Right. But
You had to buy them
included,
separate.
right? Yeah, that was originally, but it's been like what, a year since.
It's just now. It's this year is when it officially became Wizards.
They've released a whole bunch of new books since then, and other companies. I mean, even DVDs. Why should a DVD who holds their intellectual property to their soul allow you to have a digital version when you buy the DVD version? Like they have a little slip of paper that you scan the paper and they do it, and you get a digital version of that movie that's only usable on a website that they allow you to use it on. And that's what I'm saying they should be doing with D&D Beyond. Is like you should be able to buy a physical book that has one slip of paper with a code that works only once on D&D Beyond that gives you the digital download of that.
Right, but they just now integrated D&D Beyond as their own property.
That was months ago.
Yeah, but it was in year 2022, and it's just now getting finalized. It had actually,
It's not finalized.
they haven't integrated all the products yet. They still haven't even integrated it because they're waiting to do a lot of that for the one D&D.
I mean, our whole conversation is about what they're going to be doing in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, they're not fully integrated yet. They're just now.
Well, yeah, my argument is in the future, they should have books that you can buy on a store with a little pamphlet inside that you can scan a code for and get the digital version of that is viewable only on D&D Beyond. That's what I'm saying.
They're trying to promote their D&D Beyond sales. And it makes sense as a company to want to promote their own sales.
Sure, but ultimately, a lot of people right now are upset about it.
Well, yeah, but it still makes perfect sense. I mean,
so like whatever they're planning right now, the hope is they realize that a lot of people are not going to be satisfied.
I don't know. From a marketing standpoint, from a business standpoint, I see their point because they have to put value add by buying it through them. They have to come up with a perk.
From a we need to make money standpoint, that makes sense. From a marketing standpoint, a lot of people don't like it, and that is bad marketing.
Oh, well, no. Just because people don't like it doesn't make something bad marketing.
It absolutely does.
No. People often don't like stuff for marketing, but that doesn't necessarily make it bad marketing. It's just they have to weigh value add versus value loss on every decision as a marketer. And
sure.
they have to give D&D Beyond certain perks.
Listen. If them doing this makes people not want to buy their product because it's hurting their image and people generally just don't like it and they choose to buy in store anyway, or on Amazon, a lot of people buy it cheaper on Amazon too, the physical books. The only way you can make it so people like if they're upset about it, then that's bad marketing, and that's
Well,
because they're not getting their money's worth.
no, they have to value judge it between the two. Are they making more money by doing it as a perk on their system than they're losing by upsetting people? That is an equation. And they lose a lot of money when they sell stuff through things like Amazon because of the fact that they have to, Amazon does major price cuts and deals and stuff. They get a lot less money on that. So they have to make their perk in such a way to where they're incentivizing people to go the D&D Beyond route. And
Well,
trying
as
to,
long as they're selling to places that will make it cheaper, people will be buying at those places.
yeah, they can't not sell at those places or they can't make money, period. But they can make it to where there's an implied advantage to buying through them. And that's what they're trying to do, is make an implied advantage. And that is considered good marketing. Anytime you make your storefront more appealing than somebody else's storefront, that is considered good marketing. Yes, it has the side effect of making other people's storefronts less appealing, but they have other ways to make it appealing, like their heavy price cuts, like Amazon. So it's a balanced ad thing. They teach this in Business 101, that you do this as an equation.
I've got a bachelor's. I've been through administrative. I've got a business administration certificate. I've been through marketing. I know all of this stuff. I'm saying that we have proof already from D&D that people who are playing it generally don't want to pay for the older people. The older generation is probably going to have the hardest time with this. Newer generation probably is, and they're certainly catering towards a more
Modern
digital platform. I'm not saying they're going to lose a lot of money. I'm saying I'm not happy with it.
yeah, and like I said,
it's bad practice.
It's just like other policies, like loss leaders in PlayStation and Xbox, encouraging people to buy things through other ways in order to get the residual money elsewhere. This is encouraging people.
But I still have the ability to go to GameStop and get the full product.
Yeah. Like I said, each one is different.
The difference is Lurch and everybody in our group now has switched to D&D Beyond because a friend of ours bought most of the books on there. But if he didn't buy most of the books, we'd still be paper. And that's and honestly, I don't feel like I'd want to support that kind of model if that's the kind of I'm not going to buy shit online if that's the kind of product that they're selling.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like a comparable thing is if you were to say, if you bought the digital version of the game, like if you're talking about a video game,
yeah,
you're comparing the PlayStation digital storefront with GameStop. If I'm understanding what's going on with D&D Beyond now, it'd be like if you were to buy the digital version, if you were to buy the game, let's put it this way. It'd be like if you were to buy the game from PlayStation.com and you bought a physical copy of the game from PlayStation.com, but then with that physical copy, they also gave you a free digital copy you could download from the store, and then you could play it without the disc, even though you have the disc. But but at GameStop you couldn't. Like at GameStop you just
that's
buy
exactly how it is.
Which isn't what anybody does, but that's the equivalent of what it sounds like D&D Beyond is trying to do.
It feels redundant when we already have a system that works in DVDs or Blu-rays now. It's really like moved over to Blu-rays, where you get a free digital code, and like I haven't been buying a ton of Blu-rays.
But the thing is,
but I was buying a ton of Blu-rays and giving Lurch the code for his Voodoo account.
And that's one of the. That's one of the arguments against it for some people, is the fact that people are getting them and they were giving those codes to other people. The other thing is, if you notice when you go into if you notice if you go into Walmart and you go to buy a movie, every disc doesn't have a digital code. You have to sometimes pay $2 or $3 more for the one with the code.
I wouldn't be upset about it if they're, and this is the worst possible thing, is that if you buy the book, if someone, okay, let's say that someone invested in D&D 1D, or D&D, whatever,
1D&D.
and they invested in it and they bought like 5 books for 1D&D specifically,
Mm-hmm.
and then they wanted to go on D&D Beyond, and the price is the same to buy the digital part because they wanted to go play with their friends and make digital stuff. Now, in order to play on 1D&D and have the stuff that they already have physically, they now have to buy what is effective a second book just to make that happen. That is stupid.
On top of that, only the digital versions get the updates. So if you're a player that bought your physical book at a bookstore, then you don't get the digital copy of the book. You don't get the updates. You only have the old print.
It is such a stupid situation that D&D Beyond is.
Well, they're trying to go to the digital age, and they're marketing towards the digital.
I get what they're trying to do, but given what they're trying to do is stupid, I'm choosing to ignore them.
Here's basically what they've done. They've made it to where if you we'll compare it to the PlayStation again. What they're doing basically is if you were to buy a game at GameStop, you buy the disc at GameStop and you play that, and then in a couple of months the game gets some kind of an update,
A DLC
to make it work better. You don't get the update because you bought yours at GameStop instead of buying it from PlayStation.
Well, no, that's Decito. But you can get the update. You can get because you can still download the errata stuff. You just can't get it integrated into your D&D Beyond system. You still can get the errata because they're still going to publish errata just like they have been and publish updates. And you'll have to do just like you do now, where you have to go out and get like the Unearth Arcana article or whatever.
It doesn't add up to people who are playing you. These are people who are supporting you even if they're buying from other vendors. They're still supporting you by buying their product and investing money and time, not only playing your product, but promoting your product because they have to get other people to play. And those other people, like Lurch, are probably going to buy their own books so they can play better.
Right.
And then you're essentially slapping these people in the face.
Well, they're trying to sell their digital product. And
that's fine.
and they're doing a paradigm shift. They're trying to make the digital product the main product.
Listen, Doc, I understand all of that. You've been saying that this whole time. It's still a shitty thing that they're doing, regardless of what their intention is.
It's very anti-consumer.
Well, a lot of
extremely anti-consumer. Like there are anti-consumer companies. This is blatantly anti-consumer. Mm-hmm. This is monetizing your players, not your product.
Nah. It's paradigm shift.
Allie's overhearing our conversation and she just messaged me. That sounds like a terrible idea for games.
It is.
No,
I've not met one single person who thought that was a good idea for the consumer.
It's just a perk that they're putting on their system.
It is a fake perk. It is a generated perk that means nothing to players who are supporting their game.
When they have an entire PDF market out there, it makes no sense to give a free PDF to everybody who buys a physical book, which takes away from their PDF market.
It doesn't, because the people who are buying the PDF online and supporting them are still getting a physical book and the PDF. I don't see what the issue is with allowing the people buying in a physical store to have the same thing. Because, again, like, despite there being a PDF market, there's also a physical book market who only wants to dip their toes in the digital aspect of it. And those people are not being catered to. And those are a large amount of the people that are playing.
That's the definition of a perk, though. You give a perk to your customer by saying there's something extra by buying from us. That's their perk.
They're still your customer, whether they bought it directly from you or from...
Right. But when you're trying to encourage a market, you add a perk somewhere.
Listen, Doc, we get what you're saying. We're saying that it is a generated perk that means nothing because they could easily go against it and not lose that much money. They're
That
not losing money. They're not hold on. They're not losing money by putting it in stores. They're just making more money by charging the same amount for a for a digital product that doesn't cost them anything to generate.
that's exactly what a perk is, though. A perk is a generated extra. It is supposed to be exactly that. That's the whole idea behind perks.
There's no extra value. I mean, it's a perk for only one part of your consumers. You're punishing your other consumers.
No.
If I was to do that as a DM to my players, everybody would tell me that I'm a bad DM.
No, it's actually no. It's exactly the same as saying that if you buy from GameStop, they give you an exclusive secret level code because you bought it exclusively from GameStop as a special promotion just for GameStop. They've done that.
Those perks do not prevent you from the perks that you get from buying specifically at GameStop don't prevent you from an entire aspect of the game. It's not like if you buy it at GameStop, you're only getting half of the game.
No, but like for instance, like there was times that video games would give you like exclusive locked levels that only come if you bought through a certain merchant.
They wouldn't be levels. They'd be like skins.
Well, no, they were locked levels. They were because, for instance, when the game came out, there was a couple games that came out for PlayStation and Xbox. But PlayStation had exclusive level content that was not available on Xbox.
We are talking about a difference between you having to spend double your money for the same price because someone didn't know about these perks by buying it at their store. They discovered D&D, bought like 12 books to play it at the table with their friends, and then realized, oh, hey, well, I want to play this online now. And now they have to rebuy all of those books at cost that they already spent on these books because they didn't know any better. That's not good perks.
But they don't have to buy them at cost because the PDFs are cheaper than the physical books.
No, it's not.
It is. If the physical book is $50, then the PDF is $30.
No, if you look on Amazon, the PDF is the exact same price as the book.
That's because Amazon deeply discounts. That is not the MSRP.
Yeah, that's kind of the point, though, right? Like whenever you have a market that can easily give you a book at that price that they're giving. Okay,
now you're in favor of the Wizards of the Coast model.
No, I'm saying let's say. You bought a book for $45, $50, which books oftentimes are. I buy books at that.
Yeah.
Price. You got a DLC, or you didn't buy it on their website because you didn't know about it. You bought all these books, and now you have to pay another $30. That doesn't make it better.
It's two different products. The PDF and the physical are literally two different products. They are just giving their customers a bonus extra digital copy, which they're not obligated to do.
Have you uploaded your PDF or have you ever been on D&D Beyond and uploaded your character sheet?
Oh yeah.
So you know that a large chunk of the game is completely blocked from you that other people could have by having all of these things.
And I expect to pay for that large chunk.
You do,
but
if someone already has a pile of books and is now expected to shell out a whole bunch of money for these other add-ons just for other people to play.
If they use D&D Beyond.
I would find another system.
I expect to pay for another service. If I get another service, I expect to pay for it. I expect to pay for a PDF and a physical.
You were expected to have the same.
I own the physical copies and the digital copies of most of my D&D books. and I paid separately for both of them. And I expected to pay separately for both of them.
You shouldn't have to, is my thing. Because we already have so many other examples of it working that way.
That's just it. Most of those examples, it doesn't work that way because 99% of the time, you buy the book and then you give your digital copy to your friend, so your friend didn't have to buy the book. And it's the same way they do with DVDs.
The fucked up thing about that is they already have it to where you can, if you pay like $7, you can have a friend who can go to like a shit ton of campaigns. Just
I know.
And then you get all of their books.
I've got a bunch of books shared. That is the fact. You're paying for the ability to share the PDF. You're paying for the ability to have it digital.
Those are two different services because now you have a.
But you're paying with the
physical books that you have to pay for. Two
yes,
services.
and you're paying for that. And you're paying for that because everything you get on the PDF, you can now share, which is why you have to pay for it separately because it goes onto your shared library.
So yeah, so here's the thing, right? If you're already allowed to share, and you're paying the money monthly to share, what does it matter if you give the code to your friend?
You give your code to.
What does it matter?
You have to use the code yourself to have the book to share it.
Yeah, you have to use the code yourself, which means you can't give it to your friend. And if your friend leaves your campaign, you're no longer sharing with them.
That only helps my point. Because if you had a physical book and it just had a leaflet with the code on it that you put on your own D&D account, that you can then share with your friends so that they have access to all those books, and you spend the monthly charge for that, they're already making a shit ton of money. You shouldn't have to pay on top of that the digital version of that book or an express charge for those digital versions.
But the thing is, you could buy the book. You could give the code to your friend who puts it on his account and shares it to 50 other people, and it's now going to a whole different audience.
People are doing that already. We've got a friend who gave us the code. He's not even in our campaign.
Right, and that's the thing is they're trying to limit some of this unprofitable sharing too.
They expressly say that is allowed. Like that's
you're technically only supposed to be sharing with people in your campaign, but by adding people to the campaign, you can do it.
That's not in the terms of service.
Well, no, because it doesn't show any limits there, but because they couldn't limit that.
That's what
that's
I'm
the
saying.
inability.
You're already paying for a service, and the thing that you're worried that they're worried about is something they're already promoting. I don't see what the problem is. It's still a digital code. When you buy full price the book in a store,
because it's still a perk. You do perks, and often businesses have to come up with perks, and perks are often manufactured perks. In other words, they have
a less expensive perk that is not designed to drain the customer. Maybe if you buy. Hold on. Here's an idea for a perk. Here's a great idea for a perk. If you buy it, let's say that they allow you to purchase the digital and the physical copy in a store with one purchase, but if you do it on D&D Beyond, they give you the monsters that appear in that book as 3D objects.
I don't know what all they're going to do in the future. They may.
It's like that's a great perk. They impose negatively on your players.
The other thing you may not realize is they may make a physical version that comes with the digital copy, but throw an extra like $5 charge on, just like with the DVD that throws an extra $2 to $5 charge when it comes with the digital copy. They may do that. They may do that. And that's feedback you can give in the 1D&D. Because that they might do.
I'm not arguing about what they are or are not doing. I'm saying the plan that they currently have is anti-consumer. It's a terrible idea.
Like I said, they're following the exact same model as they're doing with DVDs and stuff in the store. Because the ones they put in the store are often $2 to $5 more than the ones that they don't.
know. I've bought regular price, like $20 Blu-rays that have the code in them.
And then if you
Like
look on the
every
same
Blu-ray
shelf, there's
has-
one that's $12 or $17 that doesn't have the code. Because I look at them every time I go in there. And
that's
sometimes
a
it's DVD.
That's a DVD at 720. Like I've never seen a Blu-ray that didn't have a code
I have.
at Walmart.
I have. I've got
I mean,
some on my shelf.
I mean, the Blu-rays that don't have the codes are usually older movies.
Not some of the
Yeah.
new ones now.
Like new. There's no Blu-ray new movie that comes out that is like high dollar value theater movie that came out in theaters that doesn't have a Blu-ray plus digital download option. That comes standard with the basic Blu-ray option.
Wrong.
Not enough of them to do it.
Wrong. I've been to Walmart in the last month and seen them next to each other. One will be $17.95 Blu-ray without the digital. No, it says Blu-ray, but it doesn't have the DVD on it. And then right next to it for $21.95 will be the one with the digital copy.
Oh, I'm guaranteeing there's something else that's different besides just the digital copy, like
It's
Ultra
just like,
HD or something.
it usually comes with a DVD, a Blu-ray, and a digital copy, and the other one is just the Blu, and the other one is just Blu-ray, and it doesn't come with the digital copy either. It's just Blu-ray.
Like even if it doesn't say it comes with doesn't come with a digital copy, it does come with a pamphlet with a digital copy. I bought the Tremors, the latest Tremors movie. It did not say digital copy on it. I didn't think that it was going to come with one. I opened it, boom, digital copy.
Yeah, some of them do that. Some of them do that, but not all of them. I trust me.
Never come across one that hasn't.
I mostly only buy the ones that actually say they got digital copies now, because I don't even have a Blu-ray player hooked up to my TV right now. I just use my digital copies.
I mean, I don't even
they're making it now to where they can take those back from you. The digital copies now they can take back from you.
I mean, that's kind of like why I do have the physical copies. Lurch will tell you we have like 700 DVDs, or Blu-rays, like that.
Yeah.
Lots of movies physical. Like I buy them almost exclusively physical, and then
I hate to go through this, guys, but we've used almost all of our time on this particular game. We have 3 minutes left, and we haven't even touched the Vault, Stargirl, Kickstarter, or any of that.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to push that through to next. We are very passionate about it.
Yeah, we are very passionate about this one thing, and that's okay.
That's okay, yeah. Our show is very eclectic. Sometimes we don't get to stuff. We'll push the other stuff till next week.
I only participated a little bit in that debate because, I don't have a subscription for D&D Beyond. I haven't read up on the current plans on that regard.
I have a GM subscription, so.
I have, yeah. I do.
Mine was gifted to me actually by one of my players. They upgraded me from a player subscription to a GM's just so I could share the books.
And so yeah, I'm in Angel's campaign, so that I have access to all of the books that at least are a part of that campaign. And I've bought a couple of digital books of mine that are specific to what my character's abilities are, but otherwise, so yeah, my knowledge on the subject is a little bit limited. So I'm just trying to chime in on how I'm understanding the way you two are describing it, and how I'm able to compare it to other markets.
I think the closest market you could compare it to is the movie market. I'm even seeing books coming in at Walmart that have a digital vault for your Kindle.
The thing I think is the inherent difference though between the movie market and this market is, in the movie market, if you keep the disc and give away the code, you still have the disc, and you don't have to worry about any changes or any other negative impacts from it. Really, you just won't have a digital thing.
Right.
But when it comes to these books, we're talking about 1D&D, which is going to be doing updates and stuff over time. by not having the digital book, you can't create a character sheet that requires the content of that book.
See, it's not
Only
a perk that they
only if you
unlock
use
behind
D&D
it.
Beyond, though.
It is an integral aspect of their product that they're locking in.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
only accessible on their website.
well,
So you're not going to be too inclined of giving away your digital code when you buy a physical book, because you need that digital code for your character sheets on the website, and for like updates and stuff like that. So
yeah.
you're not going to be as inclined to give that code away as you do with ultraviolet codes or whatever they're calling them now, because ultraviolet is gone.
Yeah.
But so I think that's the key. I think that's an important difference between those two markets.
Yeah, it's actually worse for D&D to
Yeah.
not
Well, because D&D is making a whole separate service industry out of their PDF and digital platform, though. In fact, they're going to be they're going to even try to take down places like Roll20 by bringing their own virtual tabletop and everything integrated.
Yeah.
And so they need to encourage more people to go through their system. As that's why they have to come up with perks.
You're saying the word perk, but you're talking about like a paywall.
Let's pause for on that on the second. I want to say you're going to get more people into your system if you're giving them a free D&D Beyond code with the physical book. Like,
Yeah.
But they're trying to encourage people to pay their system, not just into the system.
Well, hang on. If someone goes to if someone goes to Metagames and they pick up a D&D book, they get the 6th edition book or the 1D&D, whatever they want to call the physical book, and in that book there's a code to get a free digital copy of that book for D&D Beyond.
If you
They have
subscribe to
create a
D&D Beyond.
account and
Yeah,
then and activate the code, and then that gives them the access to that content. Now you just pulled them into that whole market.
The only
As a game developer as well, it makes sense for them to want to do this for free. Like making sure that their code for their books are everywhere in every possible market, including the physical one, because they're using a structure similar to video games, where they rely on whales. People will buy their stuff, like they'll give away their product for free with hopes that they'll spend on the microtransactions, which they're certainly going to do. They're going to make way more money on that than any book sales.
Except, and this is a key difference between that and other games like this, is D&D Beyond has a free tier that these people could activate the book on, still be free, and never give any money to Wizards of the Coast. They just throw their book in. And now
they made money on one book sale in public.
And that free tier person could join your campaign, and you can suddenly share his book because he's a free user on your campaign.
Fortnite's a free-to-play game, and it's one of the most profitable games in the world.
Because that's a 100% microtransaction-based game. The point is
D&D, one D&D is 100% going to be largely microtransactions. We already have microtransactions in the tune of different. You can buy.
But it's primarily going to be a subscription service. It's going to be a subscription service accented with microtransactions. It's still primarily going to be. It's primarily going to be a subscription service because they want people to subscribe.
I don't know why that counters anything I just said.
Yeah, it doesn't actually. In fact, it just bolsters what we're saying because WoW was a subscription service and had microtransactions, and they made way more money off of the microtransactions than they did the subscription. So they did away with the subscription to allow more people to play the game, so more people could spend money on their microtransactions.
The way that the D&D Beyond system works, though, because of the sharing of the campaigns, because of all the other things, you're not incentivizing the microtransactions at the player level because that person will just go get the free account, add the code on their free account, it suddenly gets shared because their GM has a GM account.
Already. Like,
and that's why they're encouraging them to buy these stuff a second time on D&D Beyond.
That will not change at all. Like what they're doing it now, and they won't change how they're doing it later because they're not stopping the physical sales. So like, if the only way that that'll fix it is if they stop completely the physical sales, and they're not going to do that.
They're
So
not supposed to do that,
incentivizing
no.
people to join your website by showing them, hey, you bought this game, here's a code, and you get these extra stuff for joining the game, and here's a discount code for buying some of your first like figures. Like you, because they have like a
Hey,
build-a-figure function.
I'm totally for the discount code thing, and I'm totally for some of the other stuff. And like I said, they may do a thing where they've got a slight upcharge at the physical store to get the digital copy instead of paying full price. And that's probably what they will end up doing. But yeah, like you said, that's neither here nor there. The whole thing is trying to build a market.
I'm just commenting on the current system that they introduced to me, and
Well,
I'm like, this has so many faults.
Well, they could, like you said, you're commenting on the current system, not the future system even. The current system.
No, I'm talking about the current way that they introduced the future system.
Oh, the proposed system. Well, and like I said, right now they're two separate markets because initially D&D Beyond was not Wizards of the Coast, and they were a separate marketplace, and they did have to sell everything separately. Now they're integrating it, and the full integration's not even done yet. But
I think a full integration would include a digital code at the physical stores that comes with the books. I think that
I said they might do it with an upcharge.
I mean, they already do that by giving you they don't give, I mean, they don't do that, but they're already giving you like a little pamphlet, like for instance in the starter set that I got. And I own all the starter sets. I own all of I own the essential set.
Yeah.
In the starter set, they came with a little pamphlet that says 20% off if you go to D&D Beyond, and you whatever. All you have to do
and
is change that to 100%. You get this copy for free and like 15% off of your next character creation.
See, that 20% off thing for them, they see as a better thing than giving it for free, because you'll go in and you'll pay 20% off, but you'll buy 16 products while that 20% is active.
I'm already not doing that because that's the system they have.
Yeah, the trouble is, you as a consumer are not doing it.
I actively asked, I bought their subscription service, but I actively asked someone else to bring their books to me.
Yeah, but like, you're not doing it specifically because of it, but another impulse buyer is specifically buying 10 books on the 20% off because they put that 20% off there and they're making more sales on that guy than they're losing on you. That's the thing that they are.
They are missing out because I make a lot of money.
You look at your individual purchases.
Like they are legitimately, anyone who's willing to spend 20% off on their store they're not gaining enough money from that person for me, because I just bought in the last 3 months 38 out of the 52 physical copies of the official 5e book.
And
3 months.
And say that one person buys the Dragon bundle that gives them everything currently out, that gets it at the 20% off. They've just beat you in one purchase. One person, one whale just beat you. We all think we're the biggest producer. Shoot, Lurch has how many consoles? We think of him as the biggest console buyer in the world, but there's always somebody bigger.
I'm not saying, well, you can't win that fight, but I can win a fight off of the guy who bought the $100 of just getting 3 books.
Yeah.
The starter set, right? The Dungeons Master Guide, the
player handbook, and the monster manual. Yeah.
Like that's $100 on their store. 20% off, that's $80. That's a shit ton of money to have to rebuy. Versus if they just gave me the stuff, they would have gotten all of that fucking money. But they didn't. So then, from the guy who's only spending the $100, I would easily beat them.
Yeah, you easily beat them, but then, like I said, that's a case-by-case basis, and that's a hard thing to track.
I am potentially worth, at the absolute worst, as it stands currently, worth 22. No, I'm currently worth 32 people who only bought one book from their 20% off coupon.
Right. So, but it's a game of numbers, and you got to look at the numbers from a bigger perspective than two people, or you and
Yeah, but
two
I'm
people.
also not the only one who thinks that way.
And I'm not the only one that thinks my way or the way that, yeah, the target of that 20% off is an incentive buy. And incentive buys, as we all know, is what drives microtransactions in the first place.
It's going in a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's going in a, like, our conversation is going in a circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it's enough, and I think it's anti-consumer, and I know for a fact I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Yeah.
There are big names on YouTube who also have that opinion, and everybody else was shotgunned with that opinion as well. Like,
I know there are a lot of people that have that
big
opinion.
names are changing it.
The
So
thing I know is, from a marketing standpoint, I know that which one works financially.
From a marketing standpoint, the person with the bigger audience wins. And YouTubers dominate the digital aspect of any market. And you're like these influencers, digital influencers dominate any digital market. So if all of these big names in D&D who people watch do not support their current system, then the D&D marketing team is bad.
It all comes out in the wash. Depends on what their numbers show at the end. But again, this is another agree to disagree kind of situation, because we're already past our time now.
Yeah.
And we were getting ready to end. We're going to have to get our other stuff next week. That's okay. That's okay.
Doug, before we leave, this was a very solid conversation.
It was.
I appreciate being able to have it with you, even though we don't agree.
We don't have to agree with things. That's one of the things I like about our group, is we don't agree, but we all think out our things, whether we agree with them or not. We give arguments, logical arguments, whether we, and that's the more important thing. And there's all kinds of numbers in the background that none of us can refer to. So we don't know, like we don't know what percent of people have physically bought the physical book and the digital books because that's what they had to do. We don't know how much that is, and we don't know how many are going to do it in the future. We can only speculate.
Do you have something to say?
No.
No. Oh, it looked like you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we don't know at the end what the final thing looks like. But we do have our opinions, and we're both passionate about them, and that's kind of what matters too.
Yep.
We will get to Stargirl and stuff next week. Maybe you'll get a chance to watch Black Adam before next week, and we can hit Black Adam next week. Because I would really like to go over the spoiler-heavy episode of Black Adam, since we haven't even had the spoiler-free episode. And I really have been chomping at the bit to talk Black Adam. So let's try to plan for that next week. Black Adam and Stargirl, we'll have 2 episodes to talk about for Stargirl. We'll have Black Adam. And do we have anything else coming up? We still have a couple weeks for Wakanda, so...
Yeah, I finally watched Hocus Pocus 2. That was pretty fun.
And we can talk about Hocus Pocus 2 next week as well. And I don't know if I've got... Oh, and then I'll go ahead and push my Kickstarter till next week, because it's got like 29 days. So it won't be run out yet. We'll put that link for the God of War trailer in the chat for people who come back and read it, because that's all we were really going to be able to share of that anyway, because we couldn't play it on the stream. But that was one of the other things we were going to talk about.
I will have to get going here. I will go on ahead and bow out now because I do have to wake up at 6 in the morning.
I'll
go on ahead and say good night.
Trust me, I got to be up at 4:30 for dialysis. So every Wednesday morning. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday actually.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to drive for about 8 hours tomorrow, so
Right.
I want to be
I
ready
just
for
have to
that.
sit in a chair and have my blood drained. Uh,
Mm.
so anyway, we will go ahead and call it here. We'll hit other topics and stuff next week. I'll leave them up here in the queue so we can talk about them next week. I keep this queue up in another screen anyway, so we won't lose them. And Black Adam, Hocus Pocus 2, and Stargirl. You have a good time, Angel, and we'll catch you next week.
All right.
And
See you
happy
later, guys.
belated
See
Halloween.
ya.
Whew, yeah, we get so passionate.
Yeah.
uh,
Oh man. Phew. All right. Get the stream is ended.
yeah, not yet. I'm ending
Okay.
it right now. Let's see here.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Excelsior.